swings. From there? Yeah, I think we'll go.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to Shedd Aquarium and to Chicago's magnificent lakefront. I'm Bridget Coughlin. I'm President and CEO at the Aquarium, and I am very pleased to welcome you all for this glorious Illinois Day, a momentous day to celebrate an event where Chicago, Illinois can on the world stage showcase our world-class Midwest hospitality. Shedd Aquarium is home to 32,000 animals, none of them political animals, until today, I guess. We extend our mission to nearly 2 million guests every year and hundreds and thousands of more in Chicago communities and multiple millions online. We are proud to be a leader with our partners on a vibrant cultural, economic, and tourism fabric of this amazing mile-high city. We are also happy to be partners with the city and the state on anything and all the attention that is so deserving of our city and our state. So welcome to this beautiful day and a wonderful celebration. And with that, welcome the Honorable Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Well, it's a great day to be a Chicagoan, and it's a great day to be here. My job is simply to say thank you to a lot of folks, so indulge me while I do that. Looking out in this beautiful day, looking out at the skyline, I think demonstrates why it's so important that this convention is coming to Chicago. Let me start by telling you that this dream and this quest began well over a year ago. And the spark was lit by our incredible Senator, Tammy Duckworth, also a vice chair of the DNC, who brought this idea to us and to me and my team, and we sprang into action. Because, of course, when a senator asks you to do something, you better get to it right away. So first thanks have to go to Senator Duckworth for making sure that Chicago was in the mix in this conversation around the convention. So we can applaud her. Feel free. And of course we have to thank President Biden, Vice President Harris, and the entire DNC team. We have said throughout this process that the road to re-election to the Biden-Harris for another term has to go through the Midwest. We're happy that that message resonated, and so very grateful to the president for making this decision. But also, of course, we've got to thank our great DNC chair, Jaime Harrison. I think we have burned up every inch of goodwill that we've had with him. Many of the people I'm looking at in this audience, how many times has he gotten a call with a 312 or a 773 area code? Probably too many to count. But we are grateful for his leadership, for our party, and we're grateful and honored that Chairman Harrison and the technical team and the folks at the DNC saw through, I think, very competitive and compelling bids by our sister cities in Atlanta and New York. But we are, of course, grateful that they made the right decision and chose Chicago. So thank you, Chairman Harrison. I also want to give thanks to Governor Pritzker and his team. We have all worked seamlessly to make sure that we put together a united bid. This is important because, look, it takes all of us. It's going to take a village to make sure that we showcase this city on the highest stage. We couldn't have done this without Governor Pritzker and his team. So thanks also goes to the governor. Thank you, JB. I also have to thank Jerry Reinsdorf, Rocky Wirtz, and the United Center team, particularly Terry Savarese. I will tell you, yes. Every single time we needed to demonstrate our ability to make it happen, and that we had the bona fides, we had the team to be able to pull off a world-class convention. The United Center team stood tall and really brought it home every single time. I've said this about Jerry and Rocky and to Terry and the rest of the team. You are what made the difference in this bid, and we are super grateful to the United Center team. So let's say thanks to them as well. And of course, we know that the McCormick Place is going to play a big and important role in the day-to-day operations of the convention. So thanks also to Larita Clark and the team at MPEA for everything that they have done. Thank you also to Choose Chicago, our chair, our executive director, Lynn Osman, and our board chair, Glenn Eden. You're going to be busy, folks. You're going to be busy marketing this convention. I also want to thank the hotel and hospitality community, and specifically Michael Jacobson of the Hotel Association, Sam Toya of the Restaurant Association, but the entire hospitality and tourism community here in Chicago. Again, an integral part of this bid and demonstrating that we can make this happen. So you also are going to be very busy, but thank you, as always, for your incredible partnership. I would be remiss if I didn't also thank the city commissioners and staff who worked so hard throughout the RFP process to ensure that we were submitting a winning bid and demonstrating our bona fides as a great city, a city that worked together and collaborated, and really demonstrated, I think, the values and reflected the values of the Biden-Harris administration. I thank the team, all the city commissioners, all the staff that worked tirelessly to make this happen. I also want to particularly call out the tireless efforts of my senior aide, Kelsey Nolf. Anybody who was around this bid knows that Kelsey worked tirelessly to make this happen. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and it wouldn't have happened without her. So thank you, Kelsey. We also have to thank our friends in organized labor, and here in Chicago, led by Bob Reiter of the Chicago Federation of Labor. I'll have more to say in a moment about that, but Bob, the team, the statewide AFL did a tremendous job, not only during the bid process itself, but also in making sure that the White House and the president and everybody else knew this is a labor town and that we have to get it done for organized labor. So thank you all so much. Some of you may or may not know this, but we also had great support from our colleagues, other electeds across the entire Midwest, from governors to mayors and all kinds of stakeholders, from Minnesota to Michigan. We demonstrated that the Midwest is united in making sure that this bid was successful. And I've got to thank all of our colleagues and partners from across the Midwest who joined with us and enthusiastically supported this bid for Chicago. So thank you to our partners. And I also have to thank the leaders of the host committee, Michael Sachs, Jesse Ruiz, and Michelle Harris, and all the other folks who signed up to say, yes, we are going to get it done for Chicago. We're pledging not only our time, our commitment, our resources, but our reputation to say that this is the right thing to do. So thank you so much, and all the other donors who made the commitment. Now's the time to write those checks. Bring it home. There are so many reasons why this convention is important in Chicago, and let me just highlight a couple. Number one, this convention will bring an opportunity to showcase the beauty and the truth of this great city on a global stage. We have too many things out there in the mouths of pundits and critics who talk about our city in a way that is unrecognizable to us who live here. This will help us right that wrong and tell the truth about the best city in the United States, bar none, the city of Chicago. think this convention is also important to the city of Chicago because all of the value statements that are core to the Biden-Harris administration around equity and inclusion, wealth building, and making sure that working men and women are respected, Chicago is proof positive. We are the incubator, we are the leaders, and we will be able to have an opportunity to showcase that and highlight that the things that the Biden-Harris administration stand for are deeply embedded into everything that we are here in the city of Chicago. That's an exciting opportunity. And I mentioned before, as the birthplace of organized labor, we are happy to not only highlight that history, but to showcase our present and our future and how we turn value statements into concrete, tangible actions on behalf of the working men and women of the city, and we are excited about telling that story too. So I'm confident that the work that we have done to get to this point, to bring everyone together and demonstrate how we work well together, this convention is going to go down in history as the best ever. It's going to be the best run. It's going to be the most efficient. We're going to bring it in on time and on budget. And we are going to activate the post-convention bump that is going to lead to a resounding victory for President Biden and Vice President Harris. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to bring up truly the man of the hour, and that is our DNC chair, Jaime Harrison. Welcome him to the podium. And look, I will say that I gave out Chicago pens to all the folks who are visitors, but I kept a special one for Chairman Harrison. So this is our Chicago flag, but encased in a heart. And that's really, I think, what this day is about, the heart of our city, the love of our city, and I want to make sure that I pass on that gift to Chairman Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much. Folks, give it up one more time for your great mayor. I can tell you this, she was key in terms of making this decision. Working with her and Governor Pritzker and all of your folks was so important. But Mayor, we are so grateful and thankful for your leadership and for making this happen. Just, folks, look at this beautiful view. Look at it. Look at this beautiful day. I am thrilled to be here in Chicago, the host of the 2024 Democratic National Convention. I want to start by thanking my friends up here with us today, Governor J.B. Pritzker, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson, Senator Tammy Duckworth, and all of your elected officials, many of your elected officials and community officials here in Chicago and across Illinois. I want to thank your congressional delegation, many who are longtime friends, aunties and aunts. I see Jan Schakowsky here, Congressman Danny Davis, Bobby Rush, and my remarks are flying all about. That Chicago windy city is on mark today. But the entire congressional delegation for all that you all do. I want to thank State Party Chair Liz Hernandez, our DNC Hispanic Caucus Chair Iris Martinez, but I also want to particularly thank a good friend, the former State Party Chair and Congresswoman Robin Kelly, for all her hard work on this bid as well. Robin worked very hard with this entire delegation to make this happen. I also want to thank and recognize several DNC officers, my colleagues and friends who are here today. Vice Chair Ken Martin, who is here, Secretary Jason Ray, who is here, and of course our Finance Chairman, our money man, Chris Korch, is also here. Thank you all for your friendship and your partnership. You all have been relentless advocates for Chicago and such great partners throughout this process, and we are so excited to have you as our convention host next August. I also want to take a moment to thank the 3 other cities that were in the running. New York and Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul. Atlanta, Mayor Dickens and Congresswoman Nikema Williams, and Houston with Mayor Sylvester Turner. I want to thank them for all of their hard work. Folks, it was a hard decision because each of these cities would have been extraordinary hosts, and they told a compelling story about our country and the values of the Democratic Party. And I just want them to know that we are so grateful for them and their friendship and their leadership, and we are looking forward to working with them to showcase their cities in other capacities. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our team at the DNC, led by Alex Hornbrook. Folks, I don't give the title real deal to too many people, but Alex Hornbrook is the real deal. Alex, thank you so much for your leadership. And I want to thank our technical advisory group. If you're a part of the DNC Technical Convention Advisory Group, raise your hand. Folks, these people have decades of experience doing conventions. And they came in and they kicked the tires, they looked under the hood, they came up with the pros and the cons, they grilled folks, and in the end of the day, they gave us their best assessment on which city would make the best city to host the next convention. So I want to thank them for their work. And then we have a number of our DNC members, our staff here, and I want to thank them all for all of the hard work as well. On behalf of the Democratic Party, my friends, we are thrilled to bring the Democratic Convention back to the Midwest. This region was critical to President Biden and Vice President Harris's 2020 victory. We won big here in 2022, and it will be a part of how we win big again in 2024. This region will also give us the opportunity to showcase the Biden-Harris economic agenda that is unleashing a manufacturing boom, strengthening U.S. supply chains, creating good-paying union jobs, and expanding economic opportunity. There is so much to be excited about hosting the convention here in Chicago. You know, in 2020, we unfortunately did not get the opportunity to celebrate President Biden and Vice President Harris's election in the way we wanted to because of the pandemic. We didn't have the typical convention in 2020. We didn't have the typical inauguration in 2021. So I know we are all even more excited this time around and extra eager to give our president and our vice president the celebration that they missed out on. A celebration we know Chicago will deliver on. You know, when we first set out on our site selection process, I said that we were looking for a turnkey operation. And I'm confident that Chicago will deliver on that with a successful convention and a memorable experience for our delegates, our guests, and members of the media, but also for the community of Chicago. Two things that are really, really important to me is to make sure, because the DNC is not just a political organization. Folks, we are a community organization. We need to know the challenges, the hardships, but also the things that the folks in our communities want to achieve. And when this convention comes to Chicago, we expect for it to be a full Chicago convention where we are working with everybody, that the businesses that we are working with represent the diversity of the Democratic Party. Tanisha Williams, who is our Director of DEI, is here. And that shows you that we are, from day one, we want to make sure that the dollars that flow out of this convention are flowing into all of our communities, not just a select community. But I want to wrap this up with a personal note. Why do conventions matter? So I'm the third African-American chair of the DNC. The first was Ron Brown. Then we had Donna Brazile. And now little round-headed boy from Orangeburg, South Carolina, me. One of my first political moments that I can remember was in 1988. I was 12 years old. And it was the 1988 convention. And on the stage was Chicago and South Carolina's own Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson. And the Rev was on the stage and he was talking about hope. And he was inspiring a whole new generation to get involved, to take control, to make sure that hope was available for their generations and generations to come. 12-year-old Jaime was sitting there watching, taking it all in. And now 47-year-old Jaime, the son of a teen mom, the grandchild of someone who dropped out of school in 8th grade and one who dropped out of school in 4th grade, is now going to gavel in the convention right here in Chicago. This convention, folks, will showcase our president and our vice president, but it will show the world what the Democratic Party is all about. At the Republican announcement, they don't have the diversity that you see right here at the Democratic announcement. We are America. And you will see America on full display when the president and the vice president once again accept their nominations and course over to re-election. Thank you all so much for the hospitality, and we are looking forward to celebrating right here in Chicago. And now, folks, it is indeed my pleasure to bring up to the stage someone who is also not only your senator, but she's a DNC vice chair as well. The amazing senator from the great state of Illinois, Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Thank you, Chairman Harrison. Well, it's great to be here, everyone. I really want to make sure to thank some of the folks who did the real hard work. I'm excited. I'm so glad that the chairman is excited. We cannot wait to bring the world to Chicago and Chicago to the world in 2024. But I also want to thank the folks who really did the nitty-gritty. Thank you to Caitlin Fahey and the Magnify team, my team that worked so closely with the DNC team as well as with the governor's staff. And of course with the governor's staff, Ann Caprera and the governor's team, you guys are like clockwork. You can count on you. And of course, we've already mentioned Kelsey with the mayor's staff. You guys have been fabulous. The three teams working together as closely as they did in such strong partnership is how we were able to get this done. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work together to bring the convention here successfully. One of the things that we talked about most throughout the effort is this region's alignment with the kinds of policies that work for American families. Policies that build communities, move people forward, and create opportunities for them to succeed. The Midwest, and especially this city, Chicago, is a stronghold of labor. We protect workers' rights because we know that working families are the backbone of our nation's economy. We safeguard reproductive rights because no one, certainly no government official, should ever come between a woman and her right to make decisions about her own body, ever. And here in Illinois, we know that valuing human life means passing tough but common sense gun legislation that makes all of us safer. And that is why Chicago and the Midwest makes sense for the DNC. We're an example of what it looks like when you work to solve the real challenges that working families face every single day. And next summer, Chicago is going to give President Biden and Vice President Harris a platform to tell their story right in the heartland of our country. I have to tell you that all throughout this process, Governor Pritzker has been amazing to work with. When I first had this idea talking with Caitlin, I called Dick Durbin. I said, I got a crazy idea. He said, go for it. I called the governor. He said, absolutely. I called Mayor Lightfoot. She's like, okay, let's do it. Because she knew who was going to have to do all the work. But we've been at this together, and now we were just talking upstairs. It's time to come back together and deliver the best convention, Democratic convention that we've ever had, and to launch President Biden and Vice President Harris into victory in 2024. And I also have to just close by thanking our Mayor-elect Johnson, whom on election night I called him to congratulate him, and then I said, when the president calls you, tell him to choose Chicago. So he was a final push to get us to victory, Mayor-elect.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, if you're trying to figure out who I am in the Bulls championship team, I think it's very clear. So, I'll just say it the way, one of the greatest shooters ever said it. Michael and Scotty, they didn't know who was going to take the final shot, so they asked Steve Kerr. So I'm obviously Steve Kerr today, you all. So I took the final shot. Here we are, Chicago. Was talking with the governor. He's going to come up in a second and talk about his commitment to make sure that when the convention arrives next year, that the weather will look just like this, but I'll let him speak to that. So, of course, thank you, Senator Duckworth. Of course, it is an honor to be here today to welcome, of course, our dear brother, Chair Harrison, to Chicago and to prepare to welcome the world in 2024. And I really look forward to working closely with the DNC to facilitate a spectacular convention that showcases Chicago's beautiful lakefront, our renowned hospitality sector, our diverse culture, and of course, our best asset, which are the amazing people of the city of Chicago. Chicago truly is a world-class city that reflects the best of not just the country, but the values of our party. And I hope that my election proved that as Democrats, we actually get to run on our values. Our diversity, of course, and our strength is settled within the 77 unique communities that make up this world-class city. The people who value community, who care about one another, of course, that's Chicago, and that really is the essence of the Midwest. Of course, I can't think of a better backdrop for President Biden and Vice President Harris to tell their own individual stories that paint a picture of not just of today, but our country's future. I am eternally grateful to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, to Senator Duckworth, Governor Pritzker, and all of those who have embarked upon this incredible journey to showcase the best that the Midwest has to offer. The vitality of our economic infrastructure, and of course, one of the most dynamic regions in the country. I'm eager to continue to work with this partnership and work closely with the DNC to continue to make this not only the best convention that our country has ever seen, but will go down in history as the most remarkable testament to what is possible for the people of this great country. And of course, now it is my great privilege to bring to the stage our governor, the one who's going to make sure in August we have 78 to 82 degrees. It's a campaign promise that I'm committing to for him today. Help me welcome Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor-elect, and hey, Chicago! It's great to be here with all of you. For those of you from out of town, this weather is what we have really all year round here in Chicago, so welcome. Thank you to everyone that's standing behind me and many people that are here in the audience for all of the amazing work that you did to make this moment possible. And I really am grateful to all of you. It's no secret that the Midwest is key to holding the White House and electing Democrats up and down the ticket in 2024. Now, after all, Chicago and the entire Midwest looks like America and is the capital at the heart of the nation. Illinois is home to a bustling metropolis, a strong rural tradition, thriving suburbs, not to mention a long-standing history rooted in civil rights and workers' rights and reproductive rights. We were the first state to ratify the 13th Amendment ending slavery and the first state to ratify the 19th Amendment guaranteeing women the right to choose. Vote. We should pass an amendment guaranteeing women the right to choose, I might add. But we are an ideal backdrop here in Chicago for President Biden and Vice President Harris to tell their own stories to the American people. We are a reflection of the nation and the policies that lift up working families. A convention in Chicago, the center of the blue wall of key states like Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota, will show that Democrats don't take this region for granted, that this is key to victory in 2024. Democrats have proven that we will fight for our vibrant cities, our dynamic suburbs, our thriving small towns, and our abundant farmlands. We are working to deliver a future in which every American can thrive. This is an exciting day for Chicago, but also for the Midwest and the entire nation. And we look forward to seeing you here to celebrate with us next year in August. And now I'd like to invite a representative from the United Center to come up here to give Chairman Harrison a token of our appreciation. Chairman, come on up.
Nice. Hope they spelled it right.
Oh, there it is. Turn them around so they can see the teams. There we go. That's awesome. Now, Chairman Harrison and I would be happy to take questions from members of the media.
Oh, sure.
Mary Ann Ahern, I see in the back here.
I think I have the microphone, Governor.
Oh, who's
Sorry.
got it?
It's Dana Kozlov.
Hi,
It's CBS 2 News. Hi. Question. I remember 1996, and the city had to spruce itself up quite a bit to host the convention back then. So what sort of infrastructure improvements do you think will be necessary in the city prior to the convention? How much will that cost, and who will pay for it?
Well, I want to say, yeah, and I'll invite the mayor up, but I want to say very importantly, because of President Biden, the infrastructure dollars are there for us to make the investments that are enormously important to make this city the greatest it's ever been. And Mayor?
Well, remembering 1996 and the investments that were made, particularly along Madison Avenue, to really make sure that the route to the United Center was one that we could all be proud of. Now you look at it today, and I think the Fulton Market District was still very much a meatpacking district back in those days. But to look at it now, it's got to be one of the hottest real estate markets in the country. There are cranes all around. People are working. We will obviously make sure that we get done what needs to get done. But because of the work that was really initiated by the Daley administration in preparation for the 1996 convention, a lot of the work around the infrastructure was already done. Whatever is necessary, this is time where we sit down and really look at the specifics around what's going to be needed. That's a conversation that will be had with the DNC. We'll start it. We'll pass the torch to the mayor-elect. We don't want to have specific dollar amounts that we're going to put on the table today, but whatever is necessary, we're going to get it done.
Governor, could you give us better details about what guarantees you offered financially to make sure that this does not cost too much for the city if it does run that $90 million as it's estimated? What are you guaranteeing?
You're talking about me personally? What I guaranteed is that I and the committee that we put together will work extraordinarily hard to raise all of the dollars necessary. You know, Chicago was the city that broke even at the Democratic National Convention in 1996. It's been hard for conventions all over the country, Democratic and Republican, to break even. It's a difficult thing. But here in Chicago, we have a business community and a very giving community that wants to stand up for the best things for the city of Chicago. We've already received some commitments even since yesterday to make that happen.
Yes, Governor. Jaime with On Air Daily News. As you know, we have a large homeless population.
Yes.
And I know it's difficult to decide what to do, but are we going to do something that will have them safely housed as opposed to just shoved out of the way so people don't see them?
Well, I'm going to ask the mayor to join, but I'll also say we have a Home Illinois program that's in our current proposed budget. We're hoping to pass in May that'll help us provide not just temporary but permanent homes for people.
And this is not going to be what, frankly, you've seen in other places around the world where suddenly the homeless people are swept off the street as the world turns its eyes to Chicago. We have a challenge with homelessness, no question. Not the same as cities across the country, but we work hard every single day. And as you know, there's a number of reasons why people end up on the street. It's not, could be financial, could be because of mental health or substance abuse. It could be any combination of the above. But we have an incredibly dedicated team. We put more money into the budget this year to make sure that we had resources and that we had staffing. We work at this every single day, and it will be no different. So I'm confident that we will continue the hard work to make sure that all of our residents, our people in Chicago, have a hand that's reaching out to them to get them into permanent supportive housing. That's a work that we have done throughout my 4 years, and we will continue to do that work.
Greg Hines of Cranes. Mayor Lightfoot, Mayor-elect Johnson, security for these kinds of events is difficult at any time, but we live in unusual times. There's mass shootings in America almost every day. Chicago has had some problems that you're both aware of with murders and other things. Tell us what you can about how we're going to keep the people attending this convention, the delegates, the media, everybody, keep them safe.
Well, we're going to continue the hard work that we've done. We're this year over year, down 15% in homicides, 16% in shootings, 20% down in carjackings. And yes, media, please report that truth about where we are in the city of Chicago. Yeah. And look, I can't get into obviously all the specifics about the plans, but we're going to be working hand in glove as we would always do, and you would expect, with our federal partners, with the Secret Service, with the FBI, and others to make sure that the convention sites themselves are incredibly secure. We will make sure that we go through a credentialing process to make sure that the right folks are in there, meaning the delegates, and that they have safe passage wherever they go in our city. That is something I'm not concerned about. Obviously, we need to be diligent, but just as we are, we're all the large-scale events that come to the city of Chicago, whether it's Sueños, whether it's Lollapalooza. This year, NASCAR is coming. So we always work with an eye towards safety and security, and we will do everything that we can in terms of the convention to make sure that we pull it off without a hitch. I don't have any concerns about that. The team understands that safety and security is a primary consideration. We had a lot of conversations about what the needs were. Those conversations will continue, but what the convention delegates and others will see, members of the press, is that our city is beautiful, our city is safe, and our city is one of the greatest cities on the globe.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
So just quickly, a better, stronger, safer Chicago for the people of Chicago obviously is the work that we will continue to build on. As far as the convention is concerned, we're going to collaborate and work with all of the entities that are available to us to ensure, a very healthy, strong, vibrant, city. But as you all know, as the governor has already expressed and what Mayor Lightfoot has articulated, safe cities are safe when we have investments. So the Democratic National Convention coming to the city of Chicago is one of the embodiments of one of the best investments you can make. And that's why this is not just about, certain neighborhoods benefiting from this convention. And I'm just very proud to announce, though, too, in case you all missed it, the United Center is on the west side of Chicago, by the way. So, a lot of good things coming out of the west side. And so that type of apparatus is going to continue as Mayor Lightfoot and I work together during this transition.
Hi, Greg Bluestein for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. My question is for the chairman and the governor. What do you think the biggest difference maker between Chicago's bid and Atlanta's bid? What put Chicago over the top?
Well, listen, I'm not going to pit. We've gone through the process of looking at the pros and cons of every city, and all three cities are fantastic. When you look at the history, all three cities, the three that were finalists, all held a convention. It was 88 in Atlanta, it was 92 in New York, and it was 96 in Chicago. If I could have given out 3 bids for the 24, the 28, and the 32, I would have, because each one of those cities was very unique. They had their own stories that they could tell, and it was a very, very, very hard choice but in the end, we chose Chicago, and I think Chicago is going to be a fantastic host for the city. But listen, personally in Atlanta, my mama lives in Atlanta. She wanted the grandkids for a whole week. That's what she didn't want to attend any of the events. She just wanted the grandbabies at her house for a whole week. So I told the governor I got to make it up to my mama. But listen, in the end of the day, Atlanta's a great place. The DNC, Greg, I know you write for Atlanta. The DNC has already helped Atlanta and Georgia because it is now in the early state window, which is going to be a huge economic boon for the state of Georgia for generations to come. And so we are invested in New York, we're invested in Georgia, we're invested in Texas, and of course, having the convention here shows that we are investing in Illinois as well.
I'll just say that I'm cordially inviting your mother to be my guest, my special guest here in Chicago. I'll help take care of the grandkids with her.
I'll help pay for that, Governor.
So, Craig Dellamore from WBBM News Radio. I know the intention is there, but what kinds of things can be done to make sure that the benefits of this convention reach beyond downtown and make it out into the neighborhoods?
Well, anybody who knows me knows that one of the things that we were very focused on is making sure that we made equity and inclusion real and manifest in concrete, tangible ways. So the commitment that we made to the DNC is that minority and women-owned businesses were going to be prominently featured, that our workers from Chicago were going to benefit, and we expect that promise to be made manifest. This isn't going to be a convention where the people who profit don't live in Illinois, don't live in Chicago. This is going to be a Chicago featured event, and our small businesses, our workers are absolutely going to be benefiting front and center.
Thanks, that's all we have time for.
I want to add something quick on that as well. One of the things that is really, really important as a former ninth grade social studies teacher, and I know the mayor-elect has spent some time in the classroom. I remember I went back to my high school to teach, which was in my hometown. And one of my students, I taught world geography, but one of my students couldn't find South Carolina on the map and didn't know where Orangeburg was in the South Carolina map. There are kids that I'm sure even here in Chicago, because there are kids in South Carolina and kids all across this country who have never left their neighborhood, who've never been exposed to all of the benefits that the world can provide, that this country can provide. One of the things that is going to be a driving force for us at this convention, the convention that I chaired, the convention that's going to be in the state of Illinois, the convention that's going to be here in the city of Chicago, is to make sure that we are reaching out to those kids so that they get an opportunity to be exposed like I was when just watching it on television, and it changed the course of my life. We want to make sure that the benefits of this convention also can reach out to these kids and help to change and form the course of their lives as well. So we will be looking at creative ways. We're going to be talking to community organizations. We'll be working with the leadership, not only the elected, but the community leadership, to find ways that this is a convention not just in the United Center, but it's a convention that is all over the city of Chicago, but the state of Illinois and the Midwest as well. So I'm looking forward to that challenge, but I'm looking forward to the opportunities that I think is going to present to the next generation of leaders in this country.
Well done.
Great she's right over there.
Get to work.
We're working. This is work. Nah, I'm just kidding. Oh, yeah, they are.
So I took my staff and I said, okay, we're now the dog that caught the car.
Yeah, it's time.